beautiful oldies. Really like the sound on this one. And for, just for, total transparency, I initially, before we even hit the record button, I was initially playing this on a different bow with a stiffer stick. And I was like, oh, the sound wasn't really what I was wanting to hear from it. And so I switched over to my other wood bow, which is, it has like a more pliable stick, more flexible and bendable. Of course, I'm too scared to bend it. I never want to, but when someone demonstrated it for me, they bent it and it was really, really bendy. So it has much more of a pliable, looser, more relaxed stick. And I have found that that has coaxed out more beautiful tones out of this instrument versus the other bow, which has a stiffer stick. So I think that is an important note, that as you're trying out instruments, it's important to test it out with different bows as well, in order to see the different sounds of the instrument, and it'll also help guide your bow purchase as well, because sometimes you'll find the bow and the instrument, and it's just a wonderful synergy of a combination. It'll just combine together and create beautiful music. One thing that I have found about this instrument is that Giorgi really likes to be played lovingly. If you play him really harshly, he starts to resist. He's like, whoa, 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 okay, hold the phone. But as I approached it more lovingly and more with the more relaxed bow hand, like the sound was just flourishing and blossoming and with this instrument. So let me play a few things for you. So I played two things there. I played Chartis and I believe is lead. So this instrument really plays, it very much reminds me of the old style of playing. Well, I wouldn't say that there's necessarily two, but if we're contrasting, I'm going to take two. There are two contrasting styles of playing. There's, the really schmaltzy slides and, just very, very romantic, very into the string, very beautiful, very, what you might hear in like old movies. And then of course there's, its counterpart, what we hear a little bit more often today, just more like aggressive playing, more about clarity, more about, hearing the articulation, just clean, 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 clean. And so I would say those are two contrasting. Of course, there are different types. I'm not saying that those are the only two, but for the sake of comparison. And this instrument really has like the nostalgia, the call for the old school of playing. And me personally, I don't do a lot of the old school playing. I'm all about playing clean, playing clear, playing in tune, just trying to be as articulate as possible. But this instrument just doesn't really want to do that. It wants that schmaltzy, it wants those slides, the romance, the grab your heartstrings and yank them, not even tug, it just wants to yank. And it really calls for that kind of playing, which is, I really would love to hear that kind of playing come back, more regularly. But you'll hear it more in like, the fathers of violin, like Heifetz and Chrysler, and you hear it in like Perlman's playing as well. Just that beautiful, just like butter, like rich chocolate type of playing. So I don't know, and it really matches the color of the instrument, which I'm obsessed with. Of course, it's just such a beautiful color. But yeah, it just has that like gorgeous, rich sound. Kind of like those cakes that you get in restaurants where one bite is like so packed with flavor that you only really need 2 or 3 bites because it's just so rich. Also, when I was playing in Sol G, which if you're watching Reviva Violin's videos for the first time, Sol G means to play up on the G string only, and so you play as high as you need to or as low as you need to, but it's only the G string. And playing up here was just as easy as playing in first position. Sometimes with some instruments you have to work really hard with the bow to generate good sound up in Sol G. It just happened. It was wonderful. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of chill and let the music speak for itself. It was a very nice feeling with this one. Okay, the sound is just it's so pretty. Like it has such a vibrant sound. It's so lovely. Sorry, I had to compose myself for just a second there. It's so interesting because like as I'm playing this, I have to really focus on having just such a loose bow hand and like, just a more flexible arm, which is good for any violinist because, the majority of us struggle from tension issues. And so I really had to think about just loosening my arm and just letting the bow flow. And that really allows the string to, what I've heard called before from some of my mentors, it causes the string to spin and just generate all of these, these cloud of notes. And it just, it's just so easy to create these old school sounds on here, these little micro slides or this, the type of vibrato. It's just so beautiful. So yeah, if you really love listening to, the old, well, I wouldn't call them old, but the older style of playing, with the fathers of music, Heifetz and Chrysler, if you really enjoy listening to them and love how they sound, and want an instrument that can kind of help you take a step towards sounding like them. Their sound is so unique. I'm not sure if I could ever sound like them ever in my lifetime, because their playing is just so phenomenal. But if you ever want to take a step towards that, I think this would be a great instrument to join you on your journey.
Thank you, Catherine, for demonstrating the Nichola Giorgi. It's labeled as Turin, so we're 99% sure this violin is not Italian. We have guesses that it's German, Bavarian, French. We really don't know. There's just so many influences. Actually had this looked at by Teresio, the auction house. They're interested in consigning it for the June auction, which we may do. They estimate it should bring in somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000. So it's definitely an interesting instrument, very nice sound. I also had another friend suggest that perhaps we even try the Evaporazzi strings on there, because we have the Il Canonis. So I would be kind of curious to see how those do, but just as it is, it was a wonderful demonstration by Catherine, a professional here. So thank you all for listening, and play on, my friends.